Podcast go time. Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Weirdo Watchlist Podcast, the podcast that's slightly off. I'm your host, Mikey, and that's your other host, Sam. We are here to talk about movies once again.
Yes, we are.
So, you go first, please.
Okay. Well, first off, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Our buddy Vince. I want to talk about our buddy Vince for a second. Who is watching how many movies? 6 in a row?
He did 6 in a row, but I think he might have skipped out on one of them just based on like the order of tickets.
Oh, really?
He posted, yeah, because I think he was supposed to see a movie after Beetlejuice, but then I guess didn't, or at least didn't update his Letterboxd.
Yeah, I wish I could remember what the other movies were, because Beetlejuice... Oh, into I Am Racist, I think.
Yeah, he did Transformers 1 to Megalopolis to Beetlejuice 2 to Am I Racist, and then he saw A Different Man, and then I think he's going into watching Lee.
Which I never heard of until he sent us that, actually.
Yeah, I think it's like Quiet Oscar Player, like biopic.
Sure. Yeah.
Andy Samberg's in it. People are saying he's good.
Vince would go see that.
He's going for Andy Samberg. I thought he would have gone to Joker 2 tonight because he rewatched the first one the other night. But yeah.
6 movies though, so I'm astonished by that. But you're saying you're doing the same thing pretty soon?
Yeah, on Saturday, enemy of the show, Austin is hosting a horror-thon at his house for the film club. And yeah, we're doing 6 movies. I'm not going to tell you what my pick is in case Austin listens to this after I upload it.
Good call.
But I'll give you a hint because then it still leaves it fairly open. It's a movie we've watched for the podcast.
Sweet. Okay, yeah. Cool.
But yeah, no, I'm super pumped. I don't know any of the other picks.
You've done the horror-thon before.
Yeah,
like a Trilon.
Yeah, we did a horror-thon at Austin's house last year too, but that was also kind of a disaster because it was very unorganized. We took too much time between movies, and we also still kind of picked stuffy film club picks instead of general audience movies because we also invited a lot more people.
Sure.
So like, we watched like one of the picks which we didn't get to that night was like Possum, which is a very slow burny trauma horror about just like, like Sean Harris just like looking nervous for 90 minutes and then just very, very slow paced. And that would have been horrible at like 3 or 4 a.m. as movie number 5.
God damn.
Yeah,
so... I don't know how you're doing it. I don't know how you would do that. I mean, like, I guess in the context of like a horror-thon or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, man.
But
willingly...
Yeah. Now we're picking more like easier to digest, easier to like
good
clappable movies. Like again like stuff a general audience could get behind and not some like slow burn artsy fartsy nonsense.
My choice is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the newest one, the one where he goes on a bus and slaughters a bunch of people.
I never saw that one. That's got like Elsie Fisher in it, right?
Yeah, somebody like that. Okay. Yeah, it's short and it's good and it's fine. It's like super modernized millennial. It's funny. I don't know. It's a that would be my choice. Okay.
I've only seen Texas Chainsaws 1 and 2, and then the remake with Alexandria Daddario. Like Texas Chainsaw 3D, I think it's called. That one's fucking awful.
Okay.
But and then the Saturday after that is the Trilon's Horror-thon, which runs from like 9 p.m. to like 6:45 a.m. I think is the estimated end time.
Yeah.
So when I went last year, that was a ton of fun. Where we watched, I think we started with David Cronenberg's Shivers, which is about parasites that make people into horny sex zombies who just want to start banging and spreading the parasite. Followed by Carnival of Souls to Christ. There was we did 5 movies. I forgot the one after that. And then we also did I Know What You Did Last Summer. Oh, it was Phantasm. Phantasm was after Carnival of Souls. Okay. And then I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then ended it on some movie called like Shock. I think it's like some Mario Bava horror, like Italian horror movie. which that one was kind of like killed the night because that was the last movie shown at like 5:15 a.m. and it's like slow burn Italian movie. Everyone's fucking tired.
Oh God.
Some of us aren't making it, but I'm pumped to see what happens like this time around.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't spend all day in a theater like that. Well, maybe I would, but man,
maybe not an AMC theater.
That's a long day. That's a long day.
Yeah, and like if like I know he's only there seeing like 4 movies he hasn't seen because he's rewatching Beetlejuice and Am I Racist?
Really?
Yeah, I think he also needs like time to kill. I think that's what was the justification for Beetlejuice for sure.
Okay, well, Beetlejuice was not great. Maybe he liked it. I don't know.
He didn't. His opinion didn't change, and on Letterboxd said like I just needed to kill time between movies.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay,
yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, but speaking of Megalopolis, that's one I watched, over the weekend, and I really I think I definitely enjoyed it because it is just butts to nuts, just what the fuck are we doing here type energy.
Yeah.
Just like unchecked, unstoppable, just Francis Ford Coppola just going off. I'm about to sneeze in a second, hold on.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Got it.
Oh God, okay. Yes.
Bless me.
Bless you, Francis Ford Coppola.
Bless you, Francis Ford Coppola. But yeah, no, again, just insane choices from start to finish. Some like incredible visual pieces, and then just some that look like Neil Breen shot it, where it's just like horrible green screen that's just unevenly lit. And then just like absurd line readings, where again for like the first half I thought I was watching just again like the weird, like the most strange and bizarre like conceptual swing for a movie I've ever seen. And then in the last back half of the movie, it felt like an Adam McKay political like Oscar piece. It was just very on the nose. It tells you like point blank like this is the political angle of the movie. Which like the movie's main subject matter is like Adam Driver wants to build the better future for New Rome. But Giancarlo Esposito, he's more like the conservative, like, nah, things gotta stay the same. What are we doing here? Everything's fine as it is. So then they're like, we gotta have the dialogue, gotta have the debate. Even though the movie still ends with Adam Driver getting his way completely.
Yeah.
And Shia LaBeouf is there too as kind of like a Donald Trump stand-in, where he just gets like a rowdier and rowdier as the movie goes on. So like my big takeaway was just like, yeah, we gotta have that dialogue between the two sides and get this asshole out of the way. But despite it being like so on the nose and matter of fact, I still like enjoyed it fairly well. Just because like my mouth is just slack jawed the whole time, just like wondering like why are we making these choices like
Did
creatively?
It ever feel satisfying?
I mean, like some plot lines just like start and end so quickly, like they get solved by the next scene and just move on like nothing's happened. I'm like that, that's kind of like pretty annoying, but
right. I heard he loses his powers, then he's like, "Oh, they're back pretty quick." Like,
yeah, exactly. They again like next scene. So yeah, it's like one of my friends, Sharbs, describes it as like, like half some of just like insane movie making craft, and then the other half is like, let's get Grandpa to bed quickly. So
yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go see it.
It's like, yeah, again, like I get why people definitely aren't gelling with it like I did, but I definitely enjoyed it. I know enemy of the show Austin definitely like was fine with it because of the visuals, and he was high when he watched it.
Oh yeah.
But there's some genuinely just like absurd moments that had some people next to me laughing, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? It just like Shia LaBeouf just like talking to his step-on, just like, oh yeah, Auntie, well, because they're having sex. It's like, Auntie, wow, oh my god, that's your pussy. And I'm like, what? It's like hands on my head, just couldn't fucking believe it.
I don't think I want to see that.
It's fun. It was like
everything I've heard makes me really not. It's gonna be great.
It's a hard movie to sell, but I think.
Oh, I like Adam Driver, so there's that.
He's definitely doing the best with the script as he can. I think he's pretty solid, but I think the two like standouts are Aubrey Plaza and Shia LaBeouf, which I didn't think I'd be rooting for Shia LaBeouf this year. I know you texted in the group chat like with Vince that Vince was the Shia LaBeouf apologist, but I think that's me right now.
Oh yeah, I like Shia LaBeouf. Did you see Honey Boy?
I didn't yet. No, I think that was right around when he got like called out for being kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
but
it's a good movie. It's a good one. Interesting.
Yeah, that's one I'll probably like get to at some point.
Yeah, hell yeah. So it's a 4 out of 5 for you.
4 out of 5. Yeah. Again, I get why people don't like it. But I know I see a lot of people saying it's like the biggest piece of shit, like the single worst movie they've ever seen, and I don't think these people have seen some of the movies we've seen. Especially for the podcast.
True that.
I mean, like, what the fuck have we seen, right? We've seen, like, Vulgar, I think is worse. You might like Vulgar more.
Probably.
What the fuck else? Boarding House was the fucking terrible one we watched.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a piece of shit. Serenity, we'll get to that, but I don't think I can call Serenity worse. I think I can, but Serenity
what was that Italian horror where it was like
see
Ogroff?
Yeah, Ogroff. I wasn't gonna mention that because I liked that one quite a bit.
You did. Oh god. Yeah, I've watched some crap. Yeah, Megalopolis is tanking too. Like it's not doing well at all. And I was looking at showtimes, and it's already like 1 or 2 showtimes in some theaters.
Yeah,
I'm like that's bad. Nobody's going.
Yeah, unfortunate because I think the movie does work great with a crowd because then you can count how many people leave early, and you get to hear like the different groups of people laughing at different scenes throughout.
Yeah.
And again, I do appreciate that it's a movie that exists because there is certainly nothing else like it and will never be anything else like it. Whether the movie is good or bad, I think it's certainly worth talking about. It's definitely not the biggest piece of shit any movie has ever done. So
I hope he's okay with losing all that money.
Hey, it cost him a fucking $120 million to make. I don't think he was concerned about box office returns. He just like that's the thing about these old timey, like legacy directors. They could not give a shit about box office. They just want the budget to make the movie.
Yeah.
Especially as like a lot of them are getting like so much older, like they just want to get these things made. They don't care if they make money or not.
Well, he got it made.
He got it made. He did it finally. And
I guess, yeah, right.
Yeah, the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, I'll probably skip it. I don't know. I'm not going to spend money on it.
Yeah, you can also like wait for streaming, but that's not going to be till like 6 months from now. I think I saw like a projected streaming date.
Yeah, and I'm also not going to go see the Joker. I don't think the new Joker movie. I think I've seen just about enough people say that it's disappointing and bad that I just will let it go to streaming.
Yeah, I don't know if I might catch it in theaters because again, just out of morbid curiosity at this point. Like originally for the concept of it being, now it's a musical. Lady Gaga's in it, but now I'm hearing like Lady Gaga's barely in it, and the musical bits suck. And then there's nothing else to the rest of the movie to like be worth it. So
that's what I've heard from pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Why is this?
So maybe I will also wait for streaming because again, like I think like last night there was the notion of the idea that they were playing it early at my wife's movie theater for like a crew screening, and I was like, okay, maybe. And then I saw it was 2 hours and 20 minutes and said, fuck that.
Yeah. There's plenty of good movies in theaters right now that I would go see instead. I want to see The Substance still.
Substance people have been raving about. Everyone's been talking about what's it's Brave Little Robot, Wild Robot.
Wild Robot, Brave Little Toaster. The Wild Robot.
That's one
great movie.
Yeah, that's one you saw. Tell me about it.
I did. Oh my gosh, it is great. It is a DreamWorks movie. It feels a little more Pixar-ish because it's actually it has like a good heart to it. None of it feels cheesy.
In soul.
For a robot. But there's talking animals and they're not annoying, so that's pretty good on them, for making animals that aren't annoying in a cartoon like that. There's not even like there's always like the one character that you're just like, God, that's an annoying.
The one character that'll 50-50 shot be voiced by Awkwafina.
Yeah, Awkwafina or Josh Gad.
Yeah.
So there's none of that. It was just really, really, really well made. And it apparently it's based on the first 2 books of the series, and it kind of feels like it wraps up a really, really well. Like halfway through, you're like, okay, is that the movie? But no, it just continues. It feels like almost 2 stories, and it does great payoffs. Payoffs. You watch a robot raise a duckling to migration. That's what the movie is, and it's beautiful, and it's a gorgeous movie, animation wise. Just beautiful. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's just.
I haven't seen much of it. I've just kind of let myself be like consciously aware of it, hoping it was going to be more like like silent, methodical. Like, let's watch a robot interact with nature. Then I saw it's got like the normal like voice cast of recognizable names, and that worried me a little bit. But
right.
Again, all those worries like immediately went away when I saw like how much people were really fucking loving this thing. So
yeah, it really does deserve the praise. The only voice actor that I was like, I'm not vibing with this character at all, ended up being Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
He's not in it big time, like a bunch. He plays one animal, but
the one like professional voice actor in the top billing.
yeah. But Pedro Pascal did great. Lupita Nyong'o or whatever the heck her name is.
I think you got it right.
Cool. She did great for a robot. Actually brought some. God, there were some moments that really they're like you want to cheer type moments.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good watch in the theater. I want to go see it again. I'm probably gonna go see it after it's been out for a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'd like to get to that one too.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially after all the freaking stellar reviews.
Yeah, and it's good to see something just like good. It's good family flick.
Yeah,
it's good to see something in theaters that's doing well like that. Puss in Boots obviously did really well. God, what else? Thinking of like animated movies that have come out in the past couple of years, but this is a top one. Top one for me. One of the top 5.
Top.
So yeah, go see it.
Yeah, I'm also trying to think what other animated movies have come out that have been good.
Spider-Man,
but this year, I haven't seen like shit. I don't think I've seen an animated movie this year. Oh, I saw Orion in the Dark, which was also DreamWorks, like straight to Netflix, which was pretty solid at best. It's no Wild Robot. It's pretty okay.
You didn't see Transformers 1 yet?
I haven't seen. The trailers like put me off from seeing that for forever, I think.
Oh, really? It's super fine. It's yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of like the Transformers nerds are like geeking out, also saying it's one of the year's best. But
yeah, I will say it has a really like fleshed out universe, which is really cool.
Yeah,
like it really does build this big thing for a cartoon. But it's like it was all right. I don't even know if I reviewed it.
Maybe not.
You're
still very inconsistent on that Letterboxd.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. But I mean, like other than that, like I mean, like last year had pretty solid with like Boy and the Heron, Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles, better than expected. Nimona came out too.
Oh yeah.
And then 2022, I think was like shit. except for Puss in Boots, and then I did like Turning Red quite a bit, but
I love Turning Red.
Turning Red, I'm pretty excited to rewatch Turning Red at some point.
Yeah, it's great. I've seen it probably 4 times. Not gonna lie, it's pretty damn good.
Then,
A movie I did see recently. I don't know if I talked to you about it or not, but it's an older movie from 2002. Adaption. Charlie Kaufman's Adaption. Have you seen that?
I have not. That's been on my list, I think, since I was born.
Yeah, right. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
I finally watched it, and yeah, it's so interesting. So interesting.
Okay.
I mean, it's about Charlie Kaufman writing a screenplay.
Yeah.
For the movie that you're watching. You know what I mean? So like,
I've heard that much.
It's wow. I loved it. It's really great.
Okay.
I think he's one of my favorite screenwriters ever.
I mean, yeah.
Every time I watch one of his movies, I'm just like fucking blown away.
He also wrote Orion in the Dark on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah. So I think he wrote like an original script for it like years ago, and then like Netflix and DreamWorks like finally like put it out, like more or less based on what he wrote. So I don't know how much like final product involvement he has, but he's got the main writing credit.
Cool.
So I think the movie just looks too freaking ugly for me to really like give it higher marks. Like the character design looks fucking just gross.
Really?
Yeah, they look like those like tissue commercials, you know? Yeah, where with like the fucking kids who like look sickly and like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Funny though. Should I watch it? Did you like it?
It's all right. I mean, it's 90 minutes. It's got a really funny Werner Herzog joke.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, again, it's all right. It's fine. It's not gonna be top of the year. I think everybody's already forgotten about it by this point, especially with Wild Robot making the rounds and like Inside Out 2 being like the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah. Did you watch that one?
I haven't yet. No, I know. My wife wanted to check it out. After all, like like popping in and out of the theater, seeing like all like the colorful characters and anxiety. So I was like, oh, we can go watch it. And it's like, I haven't seen the first one. I was like, we can watch the first one. It's like, watching a movie, I can't do that.
That is tough.
Yeah, she doesn't listen to the podcast, so.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, what? She's talking about movies. I do that anyway. She doesn't need to listen to me talk about it more.
True.
Speaking of talking about movies, we should talk about a movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and that movie is 2019 Serenity, which is
honestly is a hard name to remember for some reason. It's so generic.
It is very generic.
I just can never remember the name.
But let me tell you,
forgettable name,
memorable ass movie. It's the first movie I've had to rewatch for the podcast. Mm-hmm. Everything else has been a first time viewing until now, and that's why I was so fucking pumped. I mean, like I know, like last episode we did Tetsuo the Iron Man and Body Hammer, but I kind of made us watch Iron Man. So, but regardless. Serenity, how do you feel? Tell me about it. What are your thoughts? Let's dive into this puppy here.
So, yeah, it was my first watch, and I actually really liked it for a long time. Obviously, there's a twist.
Yeah.
That we'll get to here, but everything up to that was like interesting, and then everything after that was like, oh, I don't love that. I don't love none of this is really making sense.
Yeah.
It just became like plot hole and like. You're like,
the more you think about it, the more the movie just completely fucking falls apart.
Yeah, and it just like wastes the first but I feel like there was a lot of good stuff going on. There was like this, the fishing element, trying to get the big one, and like what that metaphor was gonna be, because it's like an obvious metaphor, like, oh look, justice, the big fish. Like, what is this metaphor? And it never really pays off ever. And then the neo noir like. This, lady blonde lady come kill my husband. I'll pay you money. That part felt dragged out. but like was okay. I like Anne Hathaway, I guess. You know, she wasn't doing anything in here, really.
Matthew McConaughey's at his like peak paranoia game. You know,
yeah,
like chain smoking a cigarette.
Honestly.
He this is my favorite thing about this movie, right? Is the trailer. When you see the trailer for the first time, it's like incredible because it builds it. Academy Award winner Matthew McConaughey, Academy Award winner Anne Hathaway, Academy Award nominee Jimon Hansu, Academy Award nominee Diane Lane, and Jason Clarke.
Nice.
Which fucking makes me laugh every time I think about it.
Jason Clarke was great.
Again, like, everyone's acting their asses off against the script, which is just gets only more and more just bizarre and out the fucking window.
Yeah.
It's the movie itself is just so self-serious. Like, it is unnatural how serious everyone is acting in this movie, especially as like the mystery and everything else starts to unravel.
Yeah.
You know, you got Jeremy Strong as a businessman just wandering around the island, like, trying to catch up to Matthew McConaughey. Just like, wait, I am from the Fish and Wildlife Research Facility, here to give you a fish finder. Wait!
Yeah, I definitely thought there was going to be, like, a time element. Like, he was like, oh, I'm just a few seconds late again, or whatever. I'm like, is he, like, a time traveler?
It's a time cop. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was vibing with, but no, that was not the case. It never really explained what he... I mean, yes, it did explain what he is, but, like, why...
Listen, what the fuck he is he is the rules.
These are the rules.
Yeah.
And he has to use... They really want him to catch the fish.
Yeah, because that's the point. That's the game. That's the point of the game.
So is that, like, a metaphor... Why am I asking? You know, there is no answer.
There is no fucking metaphor, man. I don't think there is.
There isn't. But, like, when I didn't think about it for very long, when I just watched the movie, I did enjoy it. And even, like, after the twist, I was just like, I was trying to keep it together. I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. I watched, this movie for an hour and a half. And then I'm like, all right, so, it wasn't that bad. But the more I think about it, the more the star just fades away. I'm like, oh, it might have been like a 2.5 star movie. And I'm like, okay, maybe a 2 star. And it's like fading. And I think about it a little bit more. And I'm like, maybe not even 2 star. So yeah, totally ruined by that. But well made, really interesting. Some shots that were really interesting with the camera angles around the person.
It's really just the writing that just tanks the entire fucking thing. It's just the bizarre writing and just the batshit insane twist that, again, just completely destroys anything the movie had going for it. Yeah. Do you just want to, like, get to the twist? I mean, I a little bit talked about it, just, like, brushed upon it.
Yeah, sure.
Because, again, like, I hope everyone watched this movie because, again, I think it's one of my personal guilty pleasures. I loved it when I watched it because it was so bad.
And it's not poorly made, so it's not like watching something that's hard to watch. It's like competently made, for sure.
It's not a drawl to sit through by any means. It is a fascinating film. Because the big twist, right? You're watching with Matthew McConaughey, like, paranoid, going around the island, talking to his ex-wife, talking to her new husband, who's just a piece of shit scumbag. She's trying to catch this fish. He's compelled to catch this fish named Justice. Only to find out that Jeremy Strong is there to make sure he catches the fish and doesn't commit a crime. Because when we say that Jeremy Strong is the rules, is that Matthew McConaughey is in a video game that his son created because Matthew McConaughey died in the Iraq War, and Jason Clarke is now his abusive father.
Yeah.
And this whole movie has been turned into a coping mechanism for Matthew McConaughey's son to drum up the courage to kill his drunk, abusive stepfather, Jason Clarke. And again, the more you think about it, the more everything just starts to unravel.
Yeah.
But then when you rewatch it, you realize the answer has been in front of us the whole time. It's just such a batshit insane creative decision that, of course, nobody saw it coming.
I mean, then you think about, like, How is the mom there? How is the stepdad there? Like, they're not there because it's a game, right?
He's like he's coding the game himself. This isn't some like video game he found on the internet. The son created this game himself and is the one who makes Matthew McConaughey do all these things. You know, he's making him catch the fish and he's making him want to kill the Jason Clarke, who's now on the island. So why the fuck is Jeremy Strong trying to stop him from breaking the rules when, you know, like this is not just some video game on the internet.
Right.
It's a fishing simulator his like son in the real world made. So why are the rules trying to stop that from happening?
Right.
It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, can't explain it.
You, again, like you watch it, and again, you fucking just try to piece it together, unravel it, and justify this just batshit insane like D tier Shyamalan level twist that again makes no fucking sense. I know like Shyamalan has had his like bullshit twists in the past, right? But like this is even worse than that because what the fuck is going on here?
It's a video game. You just wouldn't understand.
We don't get it, you know, because we are not the rules. We don't have an abusive stepfather to worry about.
I like to think it makes more sense if the kid didn't make the video game, but was just like...
And it's like the video game's like a coping
mechanism. It was just playing the game. Because, like, if he did code it, why did he code all the different little
Why
games?
did he code his dad's wiener into the movie?
Cat. Yeah, why did he do that? Why is he... Is not real mom? Is not real... dead dad.
And you can still have Jeremy Strong being like, I am the rules, as a way to say like maybe he's cheating at the game. He's like breaking into the code. He's modding it to kill this guy.
That's what I was thinking was happening kind of when this reveal was happening, but no.
But no, he created the game.
The game.
So the whole idea of like the rules being broken don't fucking matter. Because again, like the kid's making it up as he goes. There are no set rules except like he created this fishing game because he wants to go fishing with his dad, and then he's like, I want to kill my stepdad, and I need a video game to help build up the courage to do that, and I'm gonna do it in a fishing game and not like fucking GTA or Call of Duty, and not in any other like traditional, you know, like video games cause violence sort of like narrative.
I was happy he went through with it, killed his stepdad.
In self-defense too.
That's what we're all saying.
He did it to protect his mom, and that's good justification, I think. But like, and again, it's so bizarre too because like, for as bullshit of a twist this movie has, everything else is pretty structurally sound. Again, like Matthew McConaughey's doing a pretty solid job working with what he's got. Anne Hathaway's still Anne Hathaway. Jimon Hansu is still killing it, as he does in everything I've seen him in. And Jason Clarke's Jason Clarke, but, you know, there's a reason why he didn't get billed with any sort of awards nomination. like everybody else in the cast.
I think it could have worked. One more rewrite made things a little tighter. Could have been like
another pass through, maybe another, like, screenwriter, you know, like... It, like give this to somebody else, because
it had a very what's the movie with Jim Carrey where he's in a simulation? He doesn't know. Truman Show. It could have had like
a
very
simulation either. It's like a big dome and they watch him.
Right. I felt like this could have been something akin to that, and it was kind of hitting that at points, but it never did it. Right. Yeah. So, but. It could have been something cool like that, which I would have liked maybe a lot more.
Yeah, and it's like I'm looking at like the Stephen Knight, like the movies he's like written. He also wrote and directed Locke, that Tom Hardy I'm stuck in a car, my life is falling apart movie.
Okay.
He wrote Eastern Promises, which is a pretty fucking solid Cronenberg movie. I watched that like not too long ago. Like Viggo Mortensen gets his whole dick, balls, and asshole out.
Good for him.
Yeah. And then he like wrote Spencer from like a couple of years ago, the Kristen Stewart Princess Diane movie.
Oh yeah.
And that
Okay.
yeah, so it's like, it's not to say like this guy's a total like hack job writer, but like
Well.
when he writes for himself, you got Serenity.
Yeah, what happened here?
What the fuck happened here, man? In like, one thing I do love too is just like, just how like the video game tries to get Matthew McConaughey to just keep fishing. Again, Jeremy Strong shows up to tell him like, I am the rules, and I'm giving you a fish finder so you can go catch that fish named Justice.
Yeah.
When like he's hooked the fish quite a few times throughout the movie, he clearly knows how to get to the fish. Right? You see the big bird in the sky, that's sign number one, and he always just knows that Justice is on the other end of the line. He doesn't need the fucking fish finder. And then he gets some fucking ginger kid showing up out of fucking nowhere, like, hey Matthew McConaughey, hey Dill Barker, Baker Dill is his name, not Dill Barker.
Baker Dill.
Baker Dill. I'm here to be your new cabin boy on your ship. To help you go fishing.
And I'm not going to get paid.
I'm not going to get paid.
Pretty aware.
Yeah. And like, why the fuck would you want that kid anyway when you can just have Jimon Hansu, who is like the best first mate you can have?
Bad luck, that's why.
Bad luck. You know, you got a dead wife. That brings me bad luck. It's just a fucking like crazy movie, and then Diane Lane's there for some reason. What does she do? She just bangs Matthew McConaughey half the movie.
Yeah, and we love her. I do anyway.
She's great in the movie Streets of Fire. That's a movie we should talk about. But I think that's on the watch list already, so maybe we'll spin for it one day. But like, this is just one of those movies that just like, how did this get greenlit and made at all? It's up there with like Book of Henry, you know.
Never seen that.
That's also a fucking batshit insane movie too. That's a movie I would also love to talk about.
Yeah.
I might throw it into the wheel just for shits and giggles if it's not on the watch list. I got such good news, it's on the watch list.
Right.
That one again is another just absolute like, again, like Serenity levels of just like bullshit writing and everyone else just trying to make it work. Sound direction, pretty solid acting, except for like, you know, like Bobby Moynihan and Sarah Silverman's just are in it and they're not good.
Oh.
Naomi Watts is trying her best, and I think like Book of Henry is even more fucking bizarre than Serenity, because like Serenity at least has like a good 3/4 or like 2/3 of like general like romantic thriller neo-noir vibes that just gets a wrench thrown it by just this insane twist, where Book of Henry is just the strangest movie you've ever seen. And it's from the guy who made like 2 Jurassic Park movies and was set up to do Star Wars Episode 9. But then he released Book of Henry and they fired him from Star Wars. Because they saw what this guy's really capable of. So
I gotta watch it.
It's okay, dude. It's such a fucking funny movie. It's like, you know, like if Austin does listen to this, I got a full warning for him. It's a film club pick because because 2 of our friends in the film club have already seen it, and I just want to piss him off because again, this movie is just a fucking treat.
Hell yeah!
It's so bad, but it's so fun. You just can't look away. It's one of them train wreck movies that, again, was given such studio approval.
God bless.
God bless. Again, like every year, I always look for like a Serenity or a Book of Henry. You know, it like I was gonna say like 2019 had Cats, but 2019 also had Serenity. I think like 2021 was like old for me. 2020 gave us like Capone. That's a bizarre movie that I didn't get to in time.
Never saw it.
Capone is also just fucking bad, but because it's like it's fucking Tom Hardy as Al Capone, but never any of the interesting parts of Al Capone's life. It's all the dementia parts where he's shitting his pants the whole time, talking like Daffy Duck. And you're just like, it's also the guy who did Forstick and Chronicle, and this is his, like, I am making a movie for myself. The studio had nothing to do with this. I will prove my worth as a filmmaker and screenwriter. And it's just one of the worst movies you've ever seen.
Bummer.
So it's his own fault.
Tried his best.
He tried his best.
Just like Francis Ford Coppola.
You know what? I'll say it too.
Swing and a miss.
Megalopolis might be tied with, I think, Agrodrift for the Serenities of 2024.
There you go.
Agro, again, just like bizarre creative choices, but the only difference is I did really enjoy Megalopolis and Agrodrift. Like, I don't think those movies are bad.
We can vote for the weirdoest movie at the end of the year.
Weirdest movie?
Weirdest movie of 2024.
Christ, I don't even know if it would be Agrodrift or Megalopolis. Because, like, Megalopolis is, like, the creative brainchild of one of cinema's, like, greatest that just also doesn't translate into a conventional movie at all. And Agrodrift is by Harmony Korine, and that's enough.
Heard that one was weird.
Again, it's on the watch list. I really did fucking enjoy it. You can only watch it on Harmony Korine's, like, edgelord.com. Which I paid $15 to purchase the movie. It wasn't available to rent at the time.
Yikes.
But I've got the movie. I've also got, like, a download of the movie I can send to you, so then you don't have to pay $15.
Oh yeah.
Keep it on the hush hush, but it's certainly the music in that movie is also, I think, fucking fantastic. It's one of my favorite scores of the year.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of weird movies to talk about. So many. I felt
like Serenity wasn't weird. I wasn't even thinking about it being like a weirdo movie or not the entire time I was watching it, but like, it wasn't, except for the plot. You know, like none of it was weird.
It's just the writing.
For the twist, yeah.
It's just the writing, and that's again like makes it even more fucking insane that everyone is acting their asses off. Just the most intensely serious movie you've ever seen. Yeah. And this is the script that they're working with. Where Jason Clarke's like, you know, like, he's like, beat the fuck up, he's drunk, you know, he's like, let me catch that fish. You give me that fishing rod, you bastard. I'm gonna catch that fish, you fucking watch. You watch daddy catch that fish. And he's like, fucking, barely fucking stand up. And then that's how they're gonna kill him. They're just gonna let him fall overboard, attached to the fish named Justice.
Yeah.
Because they can't just shoot him out at sea like fucking mafia style. Because that fucking ginger ass kid showed up. He was like, "I'm sorry, I snuck on your boat somehow. You didn't see me."
It's a metaphor. Oh, it's a metaphor.
We don't get it. We're not smart enough to figure this movie out. Actually,
it's a metaphor for something.
For something, we don't know what. We'll get the director on the podcast to talk about it. Like, what the fuck was going on here? But
yeah.
Again, I remember seeing this movie for the first time and just laughing my ass off. I think by myself in a theater.
Yeah.
Oh no, I watched it with Yoda Joe 93. Holy shit. He also thought the movie was bad too.
Hell yeah.
I forgot I watched that with him. That's a blast from the past, watching a movie with that cartoon character.
And this movie of all.
Here's his review. I'm conflicted on this movie. On the one hand, the actresses and actors, putting women first, good for him, put a good effort into this movie. On the other hand, the plot is all over the place. I couldn't tell you what this movie was exactly about easily. The Book of Henry of the year.
All right.
That's exactly what we thought about it.
Well, does it belong on a Weirdo Watchlist to you?
I certainly think so. Just, again, like, fucking...
I think if a twist alone can put you on there, then yes. But like otherwise, it's nothing really weird seem to happen
It's,
except
again,
for some
like,
really, really bad twist.
again, like, rewatching I remember watching the movie for the first time, knowing it's supposed to just be batshit insane by the end.
Yeah.
Thinking, like, even just, like, Jeremy Strong, like, walking down the beach in like, a full suit trying to catch Matthew McConaughey was enough to be weird and bizarre. But again, like, rewatching it, I was like, oh no, this just adds to, again, like, mystery, neo-noir. What are we unpacking here? You know? And then to find out that he is, that who the fuck he is he is the rules for a video game. That's the part that really, like, full sends this thing into just being just weird.
Yeah. I tried to go for the ride, you know. I never, like, doubted it. I was just like, okay, this is going to make sense in the end. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to land.
Fucking
and then,
does.
You know, my eyes started squinting a little more towards the end. I'm like, is it?
No, not at all.
And then the end happened, and then you're like, made it worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if it fully belongs on Weirdo Watchlist, but if not for the batshit insane twist that ruins everything, if that's weird, then yeah, it belongs on a Weirdo Watchlist for that.
I think that because of how self-serious everything else is and how competent all the other choices are, I think kind of elevates just how fucking bizarre the writing is. Yeah. Because if, you know, like, Matthew McConaughey was acting more, you know, like, campy about it, more goofball, you know, kind of like, you know, like, mid-2000s, like, Tom Cruise or something like that. Yeah. Just kind of, like, more full sending it. I think that would have kind of, like, evened it out. And then you can anticipate something as bizarre as it's a video game. But because everyone else is just deathly serious the entire time, when you find out it's a video game, you're like, this is bullshit. We've wasted an hour and 40 minutes of movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a real waste, because I truly do love this movie because it's a piece of shit, frankly.
Maybe Justice the Unreachable Fish was a metaphor for the unreachable plot of this movie, and that it doesn't make sense and it's never obtainable. It can't make sense of it. It's
Justice was the actual script for this movie. That because it drove Stephen Knight insane that he could not catch Justice the Fish. It just drove him insane to write the ending to Serenity that we have.
Yep.
Where he just said, fuck it. Instead of killing Jason Clarke, he's killing his own career as a screenwriter.
It's genius.
Except he's written like 4 other movies since then.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't give this a rating yet, did I?
No, you didn't. But I also know you do that on purpose to keep me surprised. Yeah, in the dark.
Yeah. I'll go 2. I'll give it a 2, and that's generous.
2 out of 10 or 2 out of 5?
5.
Okay. That's definitely pretty generous. I know, like, some other people are like more across the board, but I give it a 1 out of 5, but with a heart. Because again, I really do kind of love this movie quite a bit.
Good.
I think I love more talking about it than actually like sitting down and watching it.
Yeah. How was the rewatch?
Again, like you see like the clues being laid out, you know, like when you mentioned like the camera turns, I was like, it's like you're readjusting a video game camera.
Yeah.
Like you know, like on an N64, you know, you turn Mario, the camera around Mario in that same kind of like directional way.
Yep.
And then you see like a couple of weird little like splashy sound effects. And then like the way like I was trying to really like give the benefit of the doubt of the setup. You know, like of the clues, you know, like Matthew McConaughey and his kid, you know, like being linked, but the way, again, because of how out of left field it is, it just feels like they're psychically linked, and not, you know, like the son coded him into a video game.
Right.
So like there are so many moments where it's like, okay, it is staring me in the face, but it's also like, because it's so batshit insane, you're thinking it's something completely different. Mm-hmm. You know, like that they're not psychically linked at all. because it's a video game. And how is Matthew McConaughey an AI, or is the kid pretending to have a conversation with himself through his dad? The more you fucking think about it, the more the more you're just at a loss for words.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we watched it. We did it.
I'm so fucking happy I did rewatch it. I've had a copy of it just sitting on my shelf somewhere for 6 years since it came out. Again, it was one of my favorite watches of that year, despite also being one of the worst movies of that year. It's an unforgettable movie.
I'm glad we watched it.
I'm glad we watched it. Do we want to move on to the next pick? Because
let's do it.
I know I talked to you like a little bit before, but I'll explain for the audience. I'm reworking the Weirdo Watchlist to better suit a podcast format. And what that means is, in like movie by movie, I am just picking and choosing movies to get rid of. So that means I'm getting out any movies that just are not available to find easily and accessibly. You know, like I know last week we spun a movie that I eventually did find on like some like Russian torrent site, but that's not accessible. We found it. It's there. But it's not on fucking like Tubi or a site people can actually like reasonably use, you know. So I'm trying to go along with that. I'm trying to pick movies that would be interesting to talk about, you know, in terms of like, you know, like the genre, who's in it, and even taking like Letterboxd rating into account, like just about how it skews. If it like it sounds like pretty standard, you know, or pretty bizarre, but it skews like pretty poorly, that's staying in. But if it's a movie that again just sounds exponentially weird, like the movie I sent you, right? The reincarnated lovers from whose past lives were in the Holocaust, except one of them was a Nazi.
Yeah, that's right.
That sounds too crazy to like. I thought about taking it out because again, it just sounds so like it's too out there and too like controversial. But again, it's too crazy to just not be intrigued by, right?
Yeah, I'd talk about that. I'd get canceled for that.
Because I mean, we're not justifying Nazis, are we? No, we're not. So I think we'll be okay.
Not yet. We're not.
Not yet. But again, like I know there's like a lot of just again like forward-facing dramas, especially some that we've already talked about too. You know, like Serenity is a pretty standard movie. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm trying to like not get rid of movies like Serenity, but get rid of movies that again just wouldn't get us much of anything.
Deal.
But again, if it is like sounds more standard drama, but it skews pretty highly and it is available to watch, I've considered leaving some of those in. But it has led me to discover some just fucking insane movies on like the far back end. I think I found like a children's like educational video starring Mr. T, where it's like respect your parents, be good to your teachers, respect authority. Yeah, don't give in to peer pressure. But it's got Mr. T and it's an hour long. So I was like, again like a lot of just instant 5-star reviews, couple of single-star reviews. That stays in, I think. Is it easily accessible? Not according to Letterboxd, but I feel like this would just be on YouTube. And then, like I told you before too, like before we started, keeping like a lot of like the just video store bizarro finds you'd see like sci-fi, like Cyborg Cop 2 or some B-rate, The Brain from the Living Planet from the 1950s. Shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of more like 50s sci-fi, a lot of J-horror, a lot of Hong Kong action, blaxploitation. Just stuff that'll actually like get us to that 45 minutes to an hour length where we don't have to like try and force it. So I've been slowly picking away at that, and for that reason, Mr. Fassler, I've given you the task of picking the next movie to talk about for the episode.
I got it. I got one. Are you ready?
Lay it on me.
All right. 2000's Dancer in the Dark.
That's a Lars von Trier, isn't it?
That is a Lars von Trier.
I've got... Ooh, okay, yeah.
It's been on my list for a long while, and I'm like, you know what? This will be a good reason to watch this.
I've never seen a Lars von Trier movie.
Did we have one on here?
I mean, I can only assume there's a few on the watch list, but we've never watched one.
Okay.
But, okay.
I almost watched Dogville today, but I didn't.
No, right.
So.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Dancer in the Dark, Peter Stormare, Bjork. I think this is, like, for the longest time, the one movie Bjork has ever been in.
Yeah.
And she's gone on record.
The Northman.
Yeah, she's gone on record saying, like, working on one movie with a director she will not name has ruined any chances of her acting ever again. But because she's only ever been in Dancer in the Dark, everyone knew she just hated working with Lars von Trier that much. But, I mean,
Good way to say it.
Yeah, but since then she was in The Northman, so... Acting is back on the table. Perhaps, maybe.
Hell yeah.
But also perhaps not. Okay. Dancer in the Dark, then. That it's already on my watch list, but I'll re-add it so it's at the top. And, again, easily accessible. We can rent it places, and it's on Tubi. And in the list of anxiety-inducing cinema. Very cool.
Hell yeah.
All right. Should be a fun one, then. Everyone be sure to watch Dancer in the Dark. I don't know if viewer discretion is advised for it. But I just know Lars von Trier is, like, again, one of the more extreme directors.
Yeah.
But this one is definitely, like, well regarded. Anyway, a lot of high marks on this one. So.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. We'll be watching that. Any closing thoughts out of you, sir?
No, I don't think so.
All right, then.
No, I got nothing. I got no movie plans here.
I know I've got my horror-thons both weekends, but that definitely should not stop me from recording or watching Dancer in the Dark. So,
hell yeah.
Perfect. We will see you guys in the next episode then. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to catch that damn fish. That is the goal of the game. Nothing else. Catch the fish named Justice. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.